when Blackberry and Apple were real fruits. Where were you, my dear friends? What were you doing? One day, when I reached home, my children were asking me, Papa, we want Blackberry. I brought them to cold storage and bought some Blackberries. Papa, we want the real Blackberry. This is from Australia. No, you don't understand. We want a handphone Blackberry. My dear friends, that was 20 years ago. Handphone had become real fruits. Real fruit had become handphone. The world has changed. We are living in a modern world. Until 2 years ago, when I visited my eldest brother, he's got Parkinson. I brought along a basket of oranges. 2 days later, my younger sister Shelley called me and said, you know what, our sister-in-law complained that I want my eldest brother to suffer. What? I'm not so mean. Yes, my sister-in-law complained. I realized that she was using a rhetorical device called paronomasia. That means a word sounds similar to another word. You see, my sister-in-law is a Cantonese. To the Cantonese, oranges means Chan. Chan means suffering and sorrowful. Wow, this is the first time I have this complaint. When I was young, I used to accompany my mother to visit her sick friends. And my mother used to bring along oranges. Nobody complained. My dear friend, my sister-in-law is an educated and modern lady. Yet, she could see things in a different manner. I realized that she was using a negative context in the meaning. The Chinese like to use paronomasia to describe things. During the Chinese New Year period, everybody wants fat. Fat means in Chinese is egg. But if you think it in a negative sense, fat tin, fat phone, it could be going mad. But people think it in a negative sense. So this is good to think in a positive sense. When I was in Australia during my undergraduate days, I asked my date to wait for me at George Street in front of Victoria Theatre at 7 p.m. I was there early, but however by 8 p.m. she still hasn't turned up yet. By 9 p.m. there's no sight of her. It was raining very heavily. I was getting impatient. So I took a bus home. By the moment I reached my house, my flatmate Richard said, Ernest, Cindy's mother called. Cindy had an accident. Please go to St. Vincent Hospital to see her. I dashed to St. Vincent Hospital. I was 1 minute too late. She took her last breath. I was heartbroken. Well, life had to go on. A year later, I returned to Singapore. Now, life moved on until I began to discover a new life in Toastmasters. I fell in love with the word rhetoric. Rhetoric is a powerful resource for public speaking. So I started to research on it and wrote a book called Rhetorically Speaking and Writing, and was back to Australia to give a talk to my alumni at University of Sydney. But I returned back to the place where accident happened. I had to relive those days that can relieve my pain. Standing there, I could recall if Apple or Blackberry were available then Cindy could call me or WhatsApp me and say, sorry, I'm caught by the traffic, it's heavy rain. I should be there on time. And I could mention that, don't worry, take care, safety is important. But upon reflection, it was my fault. I was the one that caused the accident. Because the day before I called her, I said, Cindy, Don't forget 7 p.m. sharp. Don't be late in front of the Victoria Theatre. Don't be late. So I'm using the figure repetition 3 times, 7 p.m. So Cindy took it literally and seriously. She didn't want to be late. So that was the reason that caused the accident. My dear friend, I was heartbroken. That left a scar in my heart, an indelible mark in my head. Figure repetition is a very powerful tool to change people's mindset if the word is being repeated a few times. That is called the power of repetition. Are we living in a new era of technology? Technology has changed our lifestyle. Technology has changed the way we think. But deep down inside us, we still have a deep vein of traditional values and culture that's very hard to change. Recently, I heard a speaker mention that young people love the handphone more than their parents. Is this the way of life? Well, my dear friend, whether Apple, Blackberry were real fruits, is up to you. It is what we want them to be. Now, I want you to take out your handphone and give you a kiss and say, I love you. But I am the boss. Thank you so much.